Hey everyone, it's James, your GTA realtor with Search Realty. I'm supporting local businesses and friends and families businesses, and I'm here with Devon Melanson with Mortgage Architect. He's helped me countless times with my deals, and he does not disappoint. I'm extremely satisfied with his services, and I love to showcase his business. I'm here with Devon. How's it going?
Hey, it's going great, James. Thanks so much for having me on and for the awesome intro. It's been wonderful working with you as well. I appreciate it.
All right, let's start this interview. I have a couple questions, and let's just be comfortable as if we're like making a conversation. So why did you become a mortgage agent, Devin?
So really the main reason why I became a mortgage agent is because I saw a lot of issues with friends and with family when it actually came to qualifying for mortgages or just understanding the real estate process. I had a big love for finance before I even discovered I wanted to be in mortgages. And
Okay.
so when I noticed that there was kind of a gap in the industry, in terms of someone who is a bit more fresh and who would come in with an open mind and take more of an educational approach on things, I realized that it was kind of my calling. And since then, I've been enjoying teaching people about mortgages and educating people, and that's really the main reason why I got into it.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome,
it's
man.
just you know how it is. You're like me, you're young, right? It's very it can be very scary when it comes to buying your first home or, just getting
Yeah,
involved with real estate, whatever it may be. A lot of people in our generation are not at the point where they fully understand it. So
that's
I
true.
just I think that's important, and the more access to information you can put out there, the more people who I guess will appreciate it and understand what they're going through.
Yeah, I respect that. Being very informative and educational to your clients, especially to friends and family.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. And you're the same way, right? You take the educational approach, which is why I think we click so much.
Yeah. Uh, I really want clients to get pre-approved first, which is the best tip.
Yeah.
And them even like self-analyzing their situation, seeing if they would be pre-approved for, they just punch in the numbers themselves. But
Yeah.
doing it with you or even with any mortgage agent, you definitely get it done fast, and you're able to usually pre-approve at a higher purchase power, which I respect a lot.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it just takes a little bit of creativity here and there, but as I'm sure you know, even if people aren't ready to purchase, you and I both believe in the same thing, that it's okay to just review people's situations to make sure they're on the right track. And that's one of the things I like about you, is just because somebody isn't ready to go right away, you still send them my way and we can still check out their situation so that if they want to buy in like a year or two,
Yeah, yeah,
they know what to do, right? That's super
yeah,
important. So yeah.
yeah. So many times, just sending you a client, and then uh, it just doesn't work out. But that's okay. It's just not the time. It's not the right time to enter the market.
Absolutely.
You know.
No,
But it happens a lot. But
it does.
it's so important just to develop a financial structure, and then a game plan with me. Just knowing the ballpark. What you can be approved for. In X amount of years.
Yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
glad we're on the
And
same track. Usually.
no, for
Yeah.
sure. It's very important. So
All right, on to the next question. What is the most memorable experience you've had so far? I guess in the industry.
so this one was actually just at the beginning of the year. I was working with this elderly couple on their mortgage, nowhere near the GTA, but
Okay.
they have a home way out, and basically they were strapped to their teeth with debt. So they had a lot of debt that the monthly repayments were basically eating up all of their income, and then they were at the point where they were basically using other debt to pay for debt. And
Oh
basically
no.
upon, yeah, pretty scary situation. So upon reviewing their situation, I realized that the mortgage product they were in currently was actually doing a lot of damage to them. They had to pay fees to get into the product when they never should have, because they were just misinformed on what their situation was and what they needed. And so basically what I did is I consolidated all of their debts into their mortgage. I got them a much better rate than they currently had and a lower payment. And basically, all in all, I was saving them over a couple $1,000s a month in cash flow.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
And this sounds
And
like a bit of a brag, but the actual part that's the most memorable part is that at the end, when we were closing everything up and it was all finishing, the lady, she would call me, she would text me randomly, message me, and she would just like check in on how I'm doing. And she'd just say thank you. Like, she wasn't really great at texting and stuff, but she'd just send short text messages just like saying, I want to thank you so much for what you did for us and stuff like that.
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, it's incredible. It honestly, even saying it out loud, it sounds like I'm lying, but it's still the most incredible experience I've ever had. Just the joy from them knowing that they're not going to be stressed out every single month with their payments. They took out equity so they could rebuild their business, their baking business that they had, because of COVID. It got shut down, and then they didn't have the funds to start it back up. So, all in all, that was incredible. And I still get a random message here and there from her, just a random hi, hello, how are you? And it's awesome. So yeah, that was definitely the most memorable experience.
God bless you, brother.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah, that's
man.
awesome, man. That's definitely one of the most memorable or even the most complicated. But you've definitely um, shown a big positive impact in their life, and it definitely drastically changed their life, right? You definitely
That's
helped them so much, and they're definitely
Yeah,
like so happy and thankful.
I appreciate
Good
that,
job for you,
man.
man.
Yeah, that's what we hope for with every mortgage, right? Is we leave a positive impact, but
Yeah,
some are just bigger than others. It really just depends on the person and their situation, right? But
yeah,
I know that hopefully they won't forget me, and if they ever need any help, then I'll be here. So
of course, yeah, of course, yeah.
yeah.
They'll definitely refer you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even if they don't, it's all good. It
yeah,
just
yeah.
meant a lot to me, you know what I mean? But yeah, I appreciate that, man.
All right, third question. What are your favorite things to do in the neighborhood?
Yeah, so before we hopped on the actual recorded call, I was telling you I have a lot of friends in like the Churchill Meadows neighborhood and actually Mississauga. So I myself am not located there, but I do visit a lot. We go out to a lot of bars and restaurants around the area.
That's awesome.
I personally really love Mississauga. If it were up to me,
Yeah,
my fiance and I would probably live there, but
yeah,
obviously it's a little bit expensive. So for what we are looking for anyways. So I try to visit, really just go to mainly local businesses. And support local businesses. I'm a big eating out type of guy, like restaurants and stuff like that. So we frequently try and stay away from big chains if we can, and support smaller local restaurants. So that's probably my favorite thing to do. Yeah.
so what restaurants would you avoid?
Oh man,
Like,
I'm
what do you
not
mean the big
saying.
chains, like Kelsey's or
Yeah, you know what I mean, like just the big food chains. Like, we don't always avoid them,
of
obviously.
course, yeah, of
i
course,
still i still eat at those
yeah,
places. It's just specifically I prefer to go to local places if we can, like if that's what we're feeling. Then that's what I try to do, even in my own hometown, which is Milton, not where we are anymore.
yeah.
But there's a ton of local great restaurants there as well that we showed support to over the years. And I just think it's important, and you feel a little bit more warmth when the bill comes, and it's going towards someone who's probably from the community rather than
Yeah, yeah,
a big corporation. So
yeah.
yeah.
Have you been to Chuck's Roadhouse?
Yes, I love that place.
Yeah, me
As
too.
soon as I thought you were gonna ask what restaurants do you like to go to, and that was gonna be probably my one of my top
Chuck's
ones. Yeah.
Roadhouse, definitely. I go there with my boys, my
Nice.
friends and family too.
Okay.
They have good pricing, and
They
then they have
do. It's
half
fair.
apps after 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. I don't know if
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
that's our go-to after we would play basketball or after
Nice.
like a long day. We would chill there when there's an
Cool.
NBA game or if there's any game there.
Nice.
Even the service is like it's the atmosphere. It's all good. Like
Yeah.
the steak. I remember there's a steak for like $23. I don't know how the ounces work, but it was a
Yeah.
huge steak for $24 with
Yeah.
fries and corn with a drink for
Yeah.
$24. But if you were to go to a food chain, like a popular food chain, it would be maybe $50.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Try if you go to Keg, that's a $67
yeah.
steak
It's a huge
all day
steak.
long.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
man.
crazy. No, that place is
Bucks.
awesome, man. I
Yeah,
enjoy that place. I have a friend who he's very money sensitive in terms, it's not like he has to be, but he's just one of those
yeah.
people who really likes to search out deals, and he was the one who actually took me there the first time, and he wanted to wait until whatever it was, 9 o'clock or something, for the half price apps.
Really?
And I was like, I was hungry. I was like, I'll just order it now.
No, that happened to us too, right? That happened to
Yeah.
us too. I think it was at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. onwards, the half apps, and
Yeah.
we got there like at 7:10 because there was a big lineup. So we waited
Right.
15 minutes reserving a table. At the table,
Yeah.
we're just chilling and talking,
Mhm.
and then at 8 o'clock we started ordering.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so funny, man. Yeah,
Cool.
Filipinos, if you don't know, Filipinos
Yeah.
are very price sensitive.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Filipinos
Yeah.
are. It's funny. All right, question 4. What is something most people don't know about your business?
So specifically my business, I mean, I think I could probably share a lot of the same things with other business owners. But this is gonna sound sad, but it's the truth. So full transparency. When you're first starting out in business, or you first started out like when I did, it can be very, very lonely. And I'm sure James, you probably went through this too when you were
For sure, yeah.
starting. I don't know. But it's really difficult to get your feet off the ground in the beginning,
Yeah,
and you may feel like you don't really have a lot of support, just because obviously you're still learning and stuff like that, so not necessarily um everybody's going to gravitate towards you just because you got into the business. They want to make sure that you know what you're doing first,
of
which
course,
is
yeah, of course.
completely fair. But the other thing is just you don't really have any connections. So aside from for us being with brokerages, we can connect with our broker owners, obviously, and stuff like that. But if you're just starting out your own self-employed business, you really won't have many connections at first, most likely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel
So,
that way.
it's very, very important to just start conversations with people, without an ulterior motive of trying to sell them something,
Yeah,
just to branch out, right? Like, I tried to reconnect with a lot of people from, high school and college and sports and stuff like that, because it was like I realized when I start this business, I expect people to support me, but I haven't even been, reaching out to people. I haven't been maintaining these relationships.
it's
So
tough. Yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
I think that a lot of people don't understand that. So you really got to become um someone who is outgoing, someone who's sociable, and reach out to as many people as you can and just start conversations. I think that's something most people don't really understand, especially when they first get in the industry.
yeah. I mean, being either a part-time agent, mortgage, or a real estate agent versus a
Hmm.
full-time, I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, being a full-time mortgage or a real estate agent, we
Mhm.
do feel like a bit more lonely
Yeah,
initially, right?
for
And
sure.
you're just starting something new, and
Mhm.
it's very overwhelming having
Yeah.
to yeah, I contacted all my friends and family, called them, tried
Yeah.
to reconnect high school friends,
Yeah.
and yeah, most of the time they don't end up working with you, but that's okay. Especially
Yeah.
when I started, right? Because they don't know if how educated I am or how experienced I am in the business. But now, we
Yeah.
are.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, people just want you to prove it, right? They
yeah,
and
yeah,
you can't really blame anyone. Like if you were to choose between two
for sure.
restaurants in your neighborhood, would you go to the one that it was their opening day and already there's like no one at the door, or would you go to the
Yeah.
one that you know is going to consistently service you well, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's totally fair, but with time I think people just start seeing you everywhere and they start noticing that you're not just some idiot who's trying to make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that you actually know what you're talking about, and then people start to respect you a lot more, which is nice. So yeah.
So many times I deal with different agents who are just sales talk, or they're just trying to make the money, right? I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah, we're definitely we're really aligned with, our values, our
Yeah.
ethics, and our goals.
Yeah.
That's how well we work with each other. I'm not all about the money, and I'm
Yeah.
happy if I don't earn, um, but obviously I want to earn. But I'm more happy
Of course.
to build a game plan for friends and family or for strangers,
Yeah.
and see that game plan how it works out in the future.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a business at the end of the day. Of course, we both want to make money. It's just we're being a lot more ethically transparent, I think, than a lot of
yeah,
people are. So that's why we get along so great, because it's easy to talk when it's like, okay, listen, I need to be straightforward with you about this, and
yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
not pushing on me, I'm not pushing on you. It's just a way better relationship that way. So
For sure, for sure.
yeah.
All right, moving on. Question 5. What was it like when you first started?
Yeah, so I guess this kind of ties into the last question, so I won't go on too long about it, but it was difficult to get started. I did something that I think most mortgage agents don't do, especially when they first start out, or incoming agents with families and stuff like that. I'm fortunate. I don't have kids or anything. I have a lovely fiance, but I didn't have anybody to support. So when I discovered that I'd be leaving my career that I had went to college for and stuff to do this, I basically just kept saving money until I was ready to make the jump.
Oh, okay,
And then I made the move, and just hope that it would work out, right? Living off of savings isn't very easy when you don't have any money coming in.
yeah, yeah,
So it was very difficult in the beginning, but it makes you that much hungrier to and motivated to go out there and just do your best. There wasn't a single day that I didn't work like 12, 16 hours, and I wasn't making any money for months, but that's what you have to do to get the business off the ground. So thankfully it ended up working out, otherwise I wouldn't be here in front of you. But
yeah.
yeah, it was difficult, but I'm glad that I did it.
So when you started in the beginning, initially, how did you obtain those leads? Like, how was
Oh,
it? Friends, family, or was it from your mortgage
yeah, good question. So a
mortgage
lot of the
brokerage? My bad.
first, yeah, no, it's all good. A lot of the first files that I worked on were definitely friends and acquaintances. So I was very fortunate. One of my first ever deals was good friends from college, and they just gave me the chance. They were, really happy, and I'm just echoing what they've told me, but they seem really happy with the process, and that was kind of my first, I guess, like dive into experiencing what it was like to actually do a good service, do a good deed, and make people happy with my services. And then after that, it kind of opened up, I guess, just my comfort level with dealing with other potential leads or friends and family, talking to them about business and stuff like that. But yeah, those initial leads, I would say, mostly were referrals with friends or
Yeah,
acquaintances. And then over time, I got pretty active on social media. So I didn't have a large network
yeah,
in the business to actually work with people, but I was getting leads from social media, which some are awesome, some not so much, but either way, yeah, that's really what I guess started the growth for me.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So why do you think it's important for people to shop local?
It's a great question. I love this question. Obviously, I love local businesses. I do my best to support them as much as possible, even with things like closing gifts and stuff. I always try to use local businesses if I can. The biggest thing is that if we lose local businesses, we lose our sense of community,
Yeah, yeah,
or we lose our community in general, right? It's very important to show love and support to the people around you and the people that are actually living amongst you,
yeah,
rather than, only supporting. I keep saying large corporations. I'm not, conspiracy theorist or something like that, but I think there is something to be said about, when you hand over that $20 bill at the local bakery to the lady who owns the business and is running the cash register versus, going to, I don't know, superstore and buying something off the shelves. It's okay to support those businesses as well, because they give jobs to, a lot of the people in our communities
yeah, yeah.
also,
I agree.
which is important to know, right? But yeah, I just think that if you don't support local, then you'll see local businesses continue to slip away. During the pandemic, unfortunately, I think we saw probably if I had to guess, like 20-30% of local businesses probably just disappear because they
Yeah,
didn't have the funding or support to stay open. And so that was kind of an eye opener for me, in realizing how fragile business is and realizing how fragile, these people's livelihoods are. So I think that if you keep supporting local, you're supporting your community, and at the end of the day, you'll feel a lot better about your purchases or about using those services for sure.
yeah. The whole idea of this marketing approach, it's not. It resonated with me, the whole idea, right?
Yeah.
Due to my mom owning small businesses and
Yeah.
how hard it is to even run a business.
Hmm.
Luckily, she was one of them who stayed and stayed open. But
Yeah.
she does provide, business or for them to be employees to work under her, giving
Exactly.
opportunities for friends and family. Um, it's very, very, you know, it's such a good thing that small businesses are open, just supporting local businesses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's why I love what you're doing with this, because you're shedding light on, some of the local businesses that some people may not know about, right?
yeah,
So it's very important to do stuff like this. And I did something kind of similar on my Instagram. Mainly last year, I was really going gun ho, but I would reach out to people and just try to get them to come on lives with me and stuff, and honestly it was really difficult. So I have a lot of respect for you doing this and doing it on a good platform and stuff, and a lot more professionally than I was doing running it on my phone too, which is awesome. So
that's okay. That's okay. I mean,
no man, that's great. Keep up the good work. I appreciate it.
thank you, thank you. Um, Next question, question seven, three more. If a young person asked you for advice on how to live their life, what would you tell them, Devin?
It's a great question. So I'm assuming you're familiar with Ryan Serhant, right? So Ryan Serhant, I used to watch him a lot when I
Yeah,
first
same.
started out, because he's got a lot of, I don't think as much now, but in maybe like a year ago or even 2 years ago, he had a lot of motivational content on his page. Just, videos, him talking about just getting off your butt and getting going, right? So there's this one video, I think it's called Just Start, and I single-handedly think this is one of the most impactful videos or whatever I've ever watched. And basically the whole mantra behind it is that you're overthinking, and you're getting worked up over all the what ifs. Instead of doing that, just start. So whatever it is, in life, it doesn't matter if it's business, if it's relationships, if it's personal, if it's education, like just go for it, because at the end of the day, you have a lot more to lose if you wait, or if you don't go for it, than you do if you go for it and fail. And
Yeah,
you'll
of
never
course.
know unless you try, right? So I think that anybody who's kind of in a stuck place in life, if they feel that way, then they should just try to live out their dreams. You know, it sounds a lot easier than it is, but I promise I did it, so that means other people can too. So
Yeah, you gotta send me that video.
I will. I'll send it to you after this. I think
Uh,
you'll like it.
just
Good.
start, yeah. Just that whole idea.
Hmm.
Uh, Shout out to Ryan Serhant, but the idea of not starting right away, or it's just anxiety, right? Anxiety, the
Yeah.
what if scenarios that are playing in our mind,
Yep.
not taking that first step, because that first step is probably the most difficult because
It
everything
is
else plays out.
for
Um,
sure.
and each of every one of us, we're all work in progress, so we learn from our mistakes. Um, and also like starting social media, being more social media, being part of it. Um, yeah, I wish, but I'm happy that I went through this. I wish that I just started and not feel anxious. I don't care about what people think. I'm just gonna do it, right? So
That's awesome. I know. I
I'm
know
going
we've
for it
been
now.
talking about this for a while, but it doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, you went for it and you're doing it now. So it doesn't matter. As long as like there's never too late a time to start doing anything. Um you jumping on the social media thing now, like you're not too late. You have plenty of time. It's
Thank you,
it's
thank you.
all good. So no, that's awesome, man. You embodied that video and stuff. So I know you'll like it. But
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Definitely keeps me more occupied too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
All right. Two more questions. What drives you to do what you do? What motivates you?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question. I think that this is one of those questions that's kind of ever changing, because I think that depending where you're at in your life, your motivation can change, right? So for instance, if I were to have a child this year, well, all of a sudden my motivation may be changing from my fiance and I and my family to, oh my god, I gotta I
Yeah.
have to raise a child and stuff like that, right? So for me personally, right now, my motivation is mainly just to support my family, support my loved ones, obviously my fiance and her family as well. But aside from that, it's really just helping people out. um, that story I mentioned earlier with the elderly couple I helped out, um, stuff like that is really what drives me. If I can get a experience like that even once in a blue moon, it makes all the more stressful times, all the late nights, all the whatever, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
just ideally helping people out and get them into better financial positions, or just positions in general in their life, so that they can just live more stress free and live freer, and not be so worried about what the next day holds. I think that's kind of my main motivation.
It's awesome, man.
Thank you.
All right. Last question. When your life is over, how do you want to be remembered?
I'm just realizing now all my all my answers are tying into
Yeah,
each
it
other
does. It does.
nicely. But so really how I would like to be remembered is just someone who wanted to help people. My worst fear, I think, is that I don't ever want someone to look at our past, our relationships, our conversations as transactional.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and the reason I say that is because I think we can get so caught up in this business with, I got to do this, I got to do that, that we forget that the people we're dealing with are humans too. And so I really really try to make a point that everybody I deal with, they get the sense that I'm treating them as another human being, not necessarily just a client. Because someone can be a client, but they can also be a friend or an acquaintance, or you can have a solid professional relationship with them.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just a transaction. So I think yeah, my biggest fear is that I'm remembered as someone who was just transactional. So I guess I'd like to be remembered as somebody who actually seemed to care right? Yeah, that's my goal.
That's good, man. You have that passion just to help families and friends, just so as I. We
Yeah,
both have aligned ethics and values and our goals. And I really respect you,
absolutely.
Devon.
Thank you, man. I have a lot of respect for you, and once again, really appreciate you doing this, and thanks for being so great to work with for all this time.
No problem. You're a good man. You're a good fit for Michelle.
I wasn't sure if I should mention her name, but I'm sure some of the people who will see this will know who she is. So yeah, I'm very fortunate. I have a lot of support
Yeah.
around me, both professionally and just from family and friends like yourself as well. So
Yeah.
very lucky guy, and I got a lot of respect for anybody who does what we do and doesn't lose their heads. So
Yeah. 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 For
yeah.
sure. Of course.
But thank you, man. I very much appreciate it.
All right, everyone. That wraps up our interview. Thank you, Devon, for joining in and for this opportunity.
Anytime. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to watching every single one of these that you do so I can learn about some other businesses as well and other people.
Awesome, man. All right,
All
we'll
right.
do
Thanks
business
so much,
tomorrow.
James.
Take care for now.
All right. Thanks so
All right,
much.
see you,
Take it
man.
easy.